Hello, YouTube. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, depending on where you're at. Today we've got Dupreeh. Okay, he's got the same sensitivity as me. The other day I watched Twist Deathmatch for 10 minutes on his stream, and I had a mid-player crisis. Okay, I watched him deathmatch for 10 minutes, completely destroyed my self-esteem. I wouldn't recommend it. I dropped my sense by 0.2 down to 1.8. So I guess I was aiming for Twist. I got Dupreeh. Twist down at 1.7. Just find that every time I do drop my sense a little bit, I get a little bit better. I hate that. And I slowly get down to the point that once I got to 1.4 at 400, and I just feel more consistent. And I hate that because the game's not as fun when on low sensitivity. You know what I mean? But I'm playing to win. That's all I care about. And KZ. And you can't KZ on 1.4 sensitivity. You got to change your sense. But anyways, we're looking at Dupreeh today on Overpass. And I also want to address something really quick. So got some great feedback from you guys where I asked for it and told you, not going to be sensitive. Just like I'm going to be here making a video every day and I'd like honest feedback. And some of the feedback was like, well, the videos don't feel like they're as organized as they could be, because I go through the demo, I haven't watched it before, and then I kind of can skip back on rounds or not know what's coming up next sometimes. And that was one of the comments on a video where I had watched the game already. And I guess I could have watched it again right before and taken notes. And so that is a bit more possible for me. Today I didn't watch the demo beforehand. I'll try that tomorrow and then try to take notes on the round. But one thing I have to be careful about is if I'm going to do a video a day and I really want to stick to that, I have to figure out how not to take that leap from live recording to editing, because when I go to editing, that's when it can take me 3 hours or something to make it, and then I can't do it every morning. And so I really want to stay in this format of like watch a demo a day, absorb some stuff from a player, kind of hang back, like we're all watching it together. I'm learning, you're learning, and doing it live. But I want to make it a format, of course, that is also something that needs to be live. So therefore, it's worth your time to watch. I might try to take some guesses as to how rounds go in the future in terms of like, okay, they're setting up here and here. Then I pause and I go, okay, this is what I think is going to happen. And then we watch the round play out or who I think is going to win or whatever. That might be an interesting thing to try. But today I just want to check this out because I had something specific that I want to fix about my own gameplay. And that's my entry pathing. The other day I was playing a scrim. I'm filling in for an advanced team right now as a sixth and a coach. And we just won our first match, by the way. I'm going to have those games streamed. It's the Jungle and ESEA Advanced. And so this season I'll be coaching. And that first game was really good. And the team is sick. Like, I think they can make MDL for sure. It's really up to how hard they want to try this season. But my entry pathing when I played on Inferno or on Overpass was really bad. I didn't know some of my protocols for going out first and where to look and stuff like that. And so I wanted to take a look to see how Dupreeh does it, one of the best entry fraggers in the game. And I think what we'll find is that actually Magisk is in first a lot of the times. But I can remember a lot of rounds where Dupreeh is in first as well. I think he's on 1280 by 960 here. And, let me go ahead and make the HUD scale a bit smaller. And I just want to take a look at where Dupreeh looks and what his protocols are like on the T side. And maybe shed some more light here on the magic of Astralis. The magic of Astralis. Okay, playing off spawns this round. Dupreeh gets blown away. Out second, just playing off the spawns 100%. And that's something we know as well, is that in Counter-Strike, roles are a rule of thumb, but depending on what's going on in the round, you have to be flexible enough to put on different hats. Sometimes your lurker is going to be your entry. Flusha might entry into the B site after everybody regroups because he got some info. Or maybe, Dupreeh is going to be second or third, and everybody has to be capable to do an entry at some point or another in their life. But in those perfect world situations where you set up 5v5, you get map control, no one peeks you, then, probably Dupreeh Magisk are going to be in front. So what's the plan on this eco round and info gathering round? Oh my god, this is Snappy on the team. Wow, this is way back when. And, yeah. Right now, today, Glaive is back on the roster. He replaced Esatag, which I think Esatag's still on the team. but they're doing that thing where they're like Freaky Friday hot swapping in players, trying to get some kind of like, I think, get up to a 10-man roster. Right now it's a 7-man roster. And so I'm not sure if Glaive is going to stay on for a while right now, or if S-Tag is going to come back in. But that S-Tag Bubsky experiment they had going on was actually pretty good. They actually looked sick. Their nuke looked really good. I mean, it's pretty amazing. I mean, if it's already true that Astralis are the best team in the history of this game. Objectively, no one's close. It's done. That conversation is put to bed. If they're to have two players go on break and then they get to a point where they're playing with new players and they're able to get to number one again, I mean, that speaks even more. I'm going to watch so many Astralis demos. This YouTube channel is just going to be, I'm going to change my logo from a square to a star. We're literally going to watch so much Astralis, because there won't be anything else to learn. So interesting, dupreeh was actually clearing up to the top of sandbags, and he was taking his time there, jostling back and forth to see if there was going to be a late push. Short B is where I expected a lot of the entry action to come, and this is the position that I personally like to fight a lot on this map. Maybe we can talk about some of the utility that we'll see coming up. So we got the connector rush. Stairs here being the middle of the map. dupreeh just looking for a trade, but he can't find it. He was quick on that trigger, though, with the Tech 9. That was impressive. It's not easy to shoot that thing that fast, but I actually have to really arch my finger to shoot the Tech 9 really fast. And then it makes me wonder, like, is that faster in general? Like, should I always have my finger arched a little bit? I'm kind of like a hybrid palm claw, because I've got this giant, like, Edward Scissorhand fingers, so I can't hold my mice like normal people. Very irregular. Wow, that's so unlucky. So you can call this like a problem, but we saw from dupreeh's perspective here that he didn't know exactly what his teammate was holding behind him, and he's trying to entry at the same time. If they had spaced just a little bit differently, of course Twist can't get that spray down, and so as much as too much space between people is bad, because the player who's holding can get a chance to reassess the situation. Being too close together can also get you accidented, like we just saw. It's a $10,000 accident, too, on the rifle. We can see that dupreeh, the head of the snake here, outside of Monster, and they're pushing up close for the flashes to come out. He turns right into it. And there's something specific. So dupreeh comes out the right side of the tunnel, and his teammate behind him, Yugi, comes out the left side of the tunnel. And they do that specifically so if there's someone in front of the tunnel, they can't get that accidental spray and hit two people or one person behind the other. It forces them to flick on the players coming out of the smoke. Smokes can be really tricky because they allow you to press up right to the end of it with that kind of spacing. That wouldn't have been possible if the smoke wasn't down. So it looks like on these eco rounds, a lot of connector control. It might be cool to see some Astralis comparing then and now and just see how much has changed. For example, Magix is calling, which I think he'll continue to call. I would assume if they trained him to do it. And you can definitely tell when Magix calls and the difference between him and Glaive and their style. I think Glaive is the best caller of all time, very well balanced caller, and has a combination of things going on. But Magix, you can see, is a little bit more impulsive, I would say, with some of the rounds. A few more rushes than Glaive would call. Not that Glaive doesn't call rushes. It's hard to reduce great players down to one trade, of course. So flower pots is the position dupreeh falls back from. Coming onto the site, they had the left side smoke down, so they were just worried about dice, and I think Optimus was being cleared already. When he takes that position at the flower pots, if he gets a kill and then looks down, he forces a CT to come out to the end of the flower pots to shoot him in the side, or to look down from above, which allows his teammate who's in bathrooms to be able to shoot first or trade. You know, some of the stuff that I say, I feel like I don't want to patronize anybody because I know, like, I think that the viewers at this point are of all different levels. Like, I'm sure some of you have played now to the point that some of the advice I would give or stuff I would talk about from years ago, just, it's stuff you know. You play on teams now. So I'm not exactly sure, you know, what level of advice or insight I should give in these demos. Okay, dupreeh just dies falling back without connector control. They've been going A sometimes on these rifle rounds without stairs. It seems like every time they take stairs, dupreeh's the first person to go in. dupreeh and Yugi. But I think I'll continue to try to go into a mixture of both. Oh, it's a short push, dry, and dupreeh finally punches it. Nock was the guy up on flower pots. Wow, I did not know you could spam that deep. I guess it's wood and then fence right behind it, so that's a really cool way to catch the fallback. Okay, they're going for the deeper boost here. And they're going to do a light pop-up and hopefully try to clear out barrels. You have to be aware of so many angles when you do this, of course. It's a timing game, and he got spotted, so you don't fight that as if it's a 50-50, you just give it up. Unless you really need the kill. Unless you got a hit on the dude, you give it up. He's aiming, I want to say low, but I guess against that back wall, it's a bit higher than it appears. Alright, so clearing angles all to the left, trusting his teammates here, and then only swinging on monster side when, like, because he's got his monster players out, so you can see it's just a matter of trust. You can get a lot more done with a team that's working together, clearing half the angles, if you know players from another choke point, or clearing the rest of them for you. And if you don't trust your teammates, you're going to lose to a team who does. So that's kind of what we're looking for. What angles is he not clearing? When he comes out short, he's focusing all his attention, all of his attention here to the left side. You know, here's a double up on short B. He made presence at monster, so now it puts pressure on Rez to think about clearing monster, even though he's going to guess sometimes that dupreeh will walk back around to short. But you get the one benefit of leaving a ghost of yourself at monster that he's scared about. Plus, when short gets cleared, you have the ability to trade or even have your teammate peek first. It looks like they're probably going to set up for a quick monster. If I'm casting, I'm like, just basically follow the bomb. If bomb is with majority and they all go out to monster like this, you're giving up so much map control, it's very unlikely that, you know, Astros are going to try something else. Okay, the left and right side of the tunnel works well again. Puts Nock in an awkward spot, has to flick sideways, and then dupreeh grabs both the kill he was supposed to get, plus the trade for his teammate on the right side of monster. Definitely something really cool about entrying is, like, you can win the round with a double entry. This might not be that round, though. Twist is having a very, very strong game. Yeah, they end up blowing that. Almost said throwing, but that's got to be careful with that word. We're getting the MDL exodus. A lot of players in MDL probably going to get outed for throwing matches. A lot of people know have switched over to Valorant. But I think it's just a matter of evidence at this point. But I'm sure there's a lot of players who are very nervous right now who will get caught throwing games. All right. So, like, I'm snapshotting this angle. Oh, this is a cool spot to sand. Aim at that part of the sandbags. Okay. The flicks have been good. Plopsky got pressured out of the half wall to peek him on short. dupreeh takes that fight all day. So that flash goes out, I think, to the left side of the pillar. And dupreeh making sure they're not doing anything cheeky here behind it. And you can see he's really waiting for his monster players to entry first. He's never coming out of short first, because he's coming out of short into both monster side and the site, which is more angles, whereas the monster player have their backs against the wall when they come out. So they're a bit more well off. Okay. Spotted. See how well he plays off Yugi. This is planted for heaven here. Let's just take a look at how this plays out. It's actually not ultra... I mean, Rez could stick this if he wanted to, but... Okay. How nervous would you be subbing for Astralis? How nervous would you be? Opportunity of your lifetime. I wouldn't be nervous, but you would, of course. I wouldn't sweat at all. This time it's long. Okay. Antico, I think they're sure about the money. I'm guessing they're sure about the money. One save gun from Rez, and long control is great. Has the same effect of Monster, where you just see you've only got to clear half the angles. You're not coming through the middle of the map in any way. You can just have your back from long, spot all the site, not ever have to flick behind you. You've cleared that out and established. So I think this is something that people do in pugs to an extreme, where they just... People get control and then they split up a lot and then they end up getting picked out in the default. But if you have a team that can work together, I think it's a really strong thing to take control of something and then leave one person there, right? You get all that map control, you can spot to see if anyone takes it back. It's like a rule of diminishing returns, I guess, where if you have too many people in one area just to hold on to map control, you don't really gain a lot from it. But you can clear it out with a bunch of people and leave one person there and gain a lot. And rinse and repeat on different parts of the map. So dupreeh not checking for the boost. Mac 10. And he spotted one pistol, so he doesn't know where the rest are coming. But here again, he specifically waits. His monster players come out first. He pretends he's going to come in and put some pressure. Tries to draw some attention. And this time he won't even enter into the site. I think I think they're specifically wanting him to go out and get the kills here because he's got the Mac 10. Also smart in protecting the gun of device. He probably doesn't want to go down the stairs either. Oh, what a nice guy. He'll let device go eco farm so he can buy himself an op. Even flashing on the Antico. You love to see it. Just making sure nothing sneaky's going on, and that's the end of the rounds. Last 2 rounds of the half. Couple things we've learned so far. dupreeh coming out late on short B most often. Taking those left and right side peaks on the monster to make sure the trades come out adequately. And then a rough go of it taking stairs control, but they just forgave? How do you say foregone? Had foregone. They just foregoned. They foregoned it. They forgone to go in stairs after a while of it not working. Now brought it back here into the late game. The late part of the round, late part of the half. Sorry, English. English is my first language. It'll probably be my last language as well. Not very good at it. Forgoned. I did not know you could actually bounce nades off that reliably. An immediate trade. So I guess the nade was for half wall. I guess that flash is good too. I'd be worried about that bouncing all the way into the corner. And dupreeh helping his teammates decide. That's a heaven smoke. And he's going to switch the molly up. His teammate mollied barrel, so he's going to molly the pit run up. And trades have been fantastic, even helping the NIP trade. Oh my god, that's not, yeah. You're getting away with that. Would have been lovely. Oh. Oh, what? dupreeh, stop blowing my mind. My god. Almost pulled an Olaf. Anything for the graffiti. Diffuse or plant in the smoke this time around. But goddamn. That was clean. I hadn't seen this game, so I didn't know if he had any dope rounds. That was one of them. It's one for the books. I would imagine his KAST is very high this game. So many trades when he doesn't get entries. And this time just establishing short B, denying NIP from pushing this, and maybe anticipating a late push this time because they've got to take something, and I think that's what Astralis' game plan is this round. They're spread out evenly across the map, and just assuming someone's got a peek because they're going to get nervous. They're low guns. There's finally the peek to come out on short. Dink comes off, which is mildly frustrating for dupreeh. Veins exploding in his forehead at the moment. Always sucks when you know a push is going to come in, but you peek just a second too early. The double setup. I mean, that's nice from NIP. They found an opening. The re-aggression was good. But it looks like they're about to get crushed. It's the last round of this half and the last round of the demo, so why don't we go ahead and look at it. Twist, basically a 1-on-2 situation, and he can't control the spray fast enough. A nice round for the team. In this half, dupreeh had 16 and 12. Amazing impact. We saw how useful he was on all fronts. He was able to entry both A and B site. Had some trouble in stairs, but some good adjustments from Astralis to change it up and go back to what worked. So much variety in there, and I found definitely some good angles to be used, and learned that dupreeh's always waiting for his monster players to come out first. So I'm going to make sure to bait more when I'm coming up short, because that's usually where I end up going as well. That was good. I think we should... this was a game all the way back from DreamHack Masters spring. And so, yeah, because there was a giant break here. So there's just not that many games. And now we've got Pro League going on. So there's a number of matches to pick out from Pro League as well, which is quite interesting. And if you guys have more suggestions for any players you'd like to see from Pro League or any other games from the past, or some of the up-and-coming players like Shiro and stuff like that, we're going to throw those in as well. And if there's specific things you want to look for, like this day is entry pathing. Is there like a lurker you want to learn from? Is there like an IGL you want to watch? Because IGLs usually have like the most nades, for example. So that might be a cool thing. Let me know. Appreciate you guys, and see you in the stream. I'll be live playing some CSGO. I'm hyped to play CSGO today. I'm going to run some more pugs and then probably play some Mortal Shell later. And then I'll be back on Monday for more streams. And this weekend, and the stream is twitch.tv/Launders. I don't know if I linked that. And this weekend I'll only do videos. I won't be streaming at all. So yeah, that's it. See you again tomorrow for another video. Hope you enjoyed. Peace out.